5 minutes until Silksong announcement. Later this day, Jason Schreier is going to come on stream. He's going to come on stream and he's going to explain why Team Cherry took 8 years to make this game. Everyone's saying that they're going to go live and be like, we have some terrible news. We've decided to cancel Silksong. Yeah, we lost all the files in a fire, and so we're delaying it to 2027. It would be very Team Cherry of them for this to be a negative announcement. But I think my faith has been rewarded. I've been pretty diehard this whole year that we're getting the game this year. It's going to be on time, that there is going to be announcements, there's going to be release, and I've been getting so much copium. Even now, with 1 minute until this announcement, people are still giving me copiums. If they don't give me a date today, I will freak out. I'll say it. It's been long enough. They said release this year. Give me a date today. Let's go! 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silksong! You can buy things. I'm gonna get so lost on that map. You can fight bosses. You can fall in lava, which I will do. A vast handcrafted world. It better be handcrafted. Imagine it's like auto-generated. Give it to me. What's the date? September 4th! Holy moly! September 4th! Holy, they should make it September 11th. They could have taken back the day. If they launch Silksong on September 11th, we forget about the tragedy, I swear to God. September 4th. That is so soon. No year. Saying no year is so funny. September 4th. What year, Team Cherry? You must be specific. Burned way too many times. Jason Schreier is joining the stream right now. It's going to take 1 minute to set up, he says, but he's going to join the stream and he's going to explain why Silksong has taken 7 years. Jason Schreier, thank you so much for joining stream. It's been a minute since we've talked. You had finished your book, Play Nice, about the history of Blizzard. And I wanted to ask you, first question straight up, what made you choose this as your next big project? Why Silksong?
This isn't my next big project. This is just another article.
For me, it's the biggest project of all time.
Yeah, Silksong is obviously one of the biggest stories of the year.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't spend as much time on this as I spent on a book, which is 3 years of the making, my Blizzard book, Play Nice. But yeah, this is a cool story, and I can tell you how it kind of came about. But I'm used to stories that are about like mismanagement and protracted development stories that are just like torturous and turbulent and full of like all sorts of crunch and problems. And when I spoke to Team Cherry, they were like, yeah, it took 7 years because we were just having so much fun. And like,
wait, that's the reason?
It's one of the reasons. They like have discovered this development methodology where they just have so much fun creating things that like they were just like, all right, I mean, I guess it's done, but like we're just having so much fun making this thing, like coming up with new ideas. And basically they are able to, so they started at the very beginning. They started by creating Hornet's kind of moveset and her gameplay and the way she feels. And then from there, because of how they work in their pipelines and their 2D, they could just like really easily draw sketches or like come up with ideas and just implement them into the game really, really quickly, which made it so much fun for them because they could just come up with ideas for items and bosses and mechanics and just throw them in, test them out, have a great time with them. And they just enjoyed it so much that like that's one of the reasons it took so long.
Okay, but
then on top of that, the game kept growing, and also I think probably the biggest factor. This one is a little obvious, but the biggest factor is that they are so rich that they don't need to release anything.
Yeah. Okay, that's been sort of the soft theory from everyone for a while, which is like they don't need our money, and so there's no rush on their end. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's like, and I say that in a totally like these guys aren't buying mega mansions or anything. If anything, Ari Gibson, one of the two members of Team Cherry, told me that like he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment and he's always in the office. So if anything, he wishes he has had a 1-bedroom apartment, so he had less to clean and maintain.
So he finally ran out of rent money and he had to make the new game.
Exactly. No, they've sold. Okay, so here's some breaking news for me. This has not been public until today, but they have sold 15 million copies of Hollow Knight. And the craziest part of that, the craziest stat there is not that just that they've sold 50 million copies, which makes it one of the biggest indie games of all time. They had sold, when Silksong was announced, they had sold only 2.8 million copies. So 4/5 of the copies of Hollow Knight have been sold since Silksong was announced. So basically, as the hype kept growing, people just kept buying the game. It was on sale all the time. Word of mouth was amazing, obviously. But yeah, that's crazy, right? Like,
that's insane. I mean, I played the game a little bit after it came out, actually quite a few years after it came out. And I remember saying, I'm glad I waited because now I get Silksong without waiting like these losers. And that was 4 or 5 years ago.
That was 2020. Yeah, so my history of this game is really interesting too, and I can get into like how this article happened and why I wound up talking to them too.
Okay. Yeah.
Because so I had heard a little bit about it when it came out. They had actually, Ari and William, the creators of Team Cherry, they had actually pitched me on it when they were still doing a Kickstarter, and I was at Kotaku, and they reached out and they were like, "Hey, you did this," and I kind of ignored it because I had gotten a bazillion Kickstarter pitches at the time. But so they knew who I was, and they knew me from Kotaku. And then a couple years later, it came out. It got some really good word of mouth buzz, but it wasn't like big or anything. It was maybe sold a few 100,000 copies, so big, but not like massive.
Not like world champion. Okay.
And then E3 2018, it shadow dropped on Switch. So Nintendo had a direct at E3 2018, and they put it on. And Team Cherry announced at that direct, it's out on Switch right now. And I had heard enough good things about that game that I was waiting for the Switch version to play it portably. And so that's when I downloaded it that day that it came out on Switch. And me and my my podcast co-host, Kirk Hamilton, at the time we were doing a podcast called Kotaku Split Screen. Now we do a podcast called Triple Click, which people should go check out. Check out Triple Click. And so we started getting really into it, and we started raving about it on Split Screen. And then we brought on Team Cherry to come and chat with us on Split Screen back in 2018. And so again, this was like, it was big. It was a hit. It was a hit indie game, but it wasn't like a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't like a smash sensation the way it is now. And even when we had them on Split Screen, they were like, yeah, we're working on this Hornet DLC. It's going to be pretty cool. And then cut to February 2019.
Wait, so it was a DLC originally?
The original idea was actually that you would just play Hollow Knight with Hornet as your main character instead of the Knight. So really, really funny. And then cut to February of 2019. So February 2019, I think it was Valentine's Day. They announced, hey, this thing has gotten out of hand. It's gotten too big. We're turning it into a full game called Silksong. And at that point they were like, we don't know when it's going to be out, but we'll let you know, like, we're back to work on it. And then E3 of that year, they actually had a demo of it at E3, and I went and played it. And it's so funny, that demo was like, I wouldn't say it was totally empty, but like you didn't have to wait in line to go play it. Like people didn't really know what quote unquote Silksong was. Silksong was not a meme then when it was announced. It was like, it gradually became that over time. And so at E3 2019, I played it. It was really cool. Hilariously, that demo was the same exact demo they brought to Gamescom this week. So all these people were waiting in line 3 hours to play this demo I played 6 years ago. Yeah. And then what happened was they posted like another update at the end of 2019, and then they were just completely radio silent. They just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And that is what started the hype, because the more word of mouth builded for Hollow Knight, the more people started to realize that there was a sequel in development, but the developers hadn't said anything since the end of 2019. Then cut to 2022, and the Xbox thing happened, and basically they said at the Xbox conference it would be out within a year.
Yeah,
I asked them about this for
it.
the article.
Yeah.
Again, go check out the article. The link should be in chat, hopefully, but go check out the article because the whole story is in there. It's a really fun story, like one of my favorite stories that I published this year, and it's really fun to read. But the Xbox thing, they basically said they thought at the time that it was going to come out within the year. And they were like, for a while now, we've thought it was going to come out within a year. That's just how they make games.
Okay, but what stopped them? Like,
Well, everything takes longer. Okay, a few things, right?
Yeah.
Everything takes longer than they think it will. There are only 3 of them. They have a few contractors also, but it's basically William and Ari, the co-founders, and their programmer, Jack Fine, and then a few testers. They have a composer, one other programmer on contract. Direct, but very, very small team, and everything just takes a while. Games take a long time to make. They are perfectionists, so they do a lot of polish. And what they did a few times was they would like polish aspects of the game, like the back half of the, or the front half of the game or something. And they would be like, well, now the entire game has to be this level of polish. Like the entire game has to be this good and this consistently good. And
just hire someone. Just
yeah. It's, well, I mean, they felt like hiring people would make it take even longer, because like delegating and managing, like that just adds even more headaches to your work. And here's the thing: the important thing is they were having so much fun making the game that like they didn't want to ruin that. They didn't want to ruin the formula. Like for them, it was much more important to be enjoying their day-to-day lives.
I understand,
than, like getting the game out.
That they were having a great time, and I appreciate that. I'm sure the game's going to show it. But were they at all aware that the entire world was screaming for it, and that
that's the other thing. Okay, so this is also in the article. And once again, I hope people go and read the story, because the whole story is in my article. They like are totally offline. They are very not online people. They are like in their own cave. They have never looked at the Silksong Reddit. They like have like been totally like, occasionally friends and family would like send them the funniest jokes, but like they were totally out of touch with
they're like
the
sitting there thinking, I hope somebody wants our game. Like I mean no one's even
like,
gonna remember it.
I don't know. No, they know people like the game. They just like don't. Like I told them, I was like, you guys know that like on every single Nintendo Direct, people are just like Silksong.
Every gaming announcement at all, period, for the past like 5 years. I don't.
They were just like, they were just like, oh well, I mean, it seems like we're gonna ruin their fun by releasing this game. That's a different.
Yeah, we should probably delay it a few more years so they can keep having fun begging for it.
And then at a certain point, they were like, okay, we see, like, our vision for this game has been realized. We see it. We see the full shape of it. Now we just have to finish polishing and, like, do all this, like, last minute work. That was, like, at the beginning of this year. So at the beginning, around, like, early this year, February, March or so, they had a good idea that it was going to come out in September. And that's when they started entering final polish mode. And that's when, like, all the hints started coming out from Xbox and Nintendo, like, it's coming this year. And then what happened was, I've been wondering about this for a long time, and I've been kind of waiting for the optimal moment to reach out to them. And they don't have their tiny studio. It's two of them.
Yeah, there's no like PR person or whatever.
Time work there. They don't have a PR person. They have one guy, this guy left, who a lot of people know, who's like their marketing guy. I talked to him a couple times, but not about Silksong or anything. And so I just kind of on a whim, I was just like, hey, Ari, I hope you're doing well, man. Like, do you want to talk about the development of this game? And he was like, sure, let's hop on a video call. Like, good timing. He was like, sure, let's hop on a video call. So it's funny, like, I don't know if people think that, like, I got some big exclusive because they came to me and they were like, oh, we want the Jason Schreier exclusive. I was just like, no, I just want to talk to you guys. And so I just reached out to them and they were like, oh, yeah, sure, let's hop on a video call. And we had a chat last week. They told me what they were going to do. And I was like, perfect. I will plan on running the story about this game, like, when the trailer hits. So that people can see the trailer, find out the release date, find out it's coming in just 2 weeks, and then read the story of why it took so long. And it was a blast. I mean, I came into the interview expecting them to be like, man, like we had so much, like we have these personal struggles.
That's what I thought you were going to tell me. I thought you were going to tell me they had
like,
infighting, or they couldn't agree, or or Xbox was a terrible partner, or I thought it was going to be that. So I'm shocked to hear you tell me they had too much fun.
They had too much fun
I've never heard
making the game. And so it took them 7 years because they were having a blast. I swear to God, that is what happened. And talking to them was so fun. They were like more excited about getting to keep working on DLC for Silksong than they were about the game coming out. They were like, yeah, we're stoked.
Don't
like the game is gonna come out
a Silksong DLC. You're setting up the next problem, Jason. Don't bring,
you should see Itchak, you should go to the bottom of the article. You got to read go scroll down and look at the bottom of the article, like the last two
I was reading it live until you joined, so I will definitely finish it.
Read the last 2 paragraphs.
All right, last 2 paragraphs. The most interesting thing now is what we can add to it next, Gibson said. We got a plan. Admittedly, some of the plans for that stuff are kind of ambitious as well, but hopefully we can achieve some of it. Stay tuned for 2032 to see how that's ambitious, 2032. It's going to be, I'm going to be an 80-year-old man by the Silksong DLC.
I feel like, yeah, there must always be a wait for like new Hollow Knight content. That's just like it wouldn't feel right if we weren't waiting for more Hollow Knight stuff. But yeah, man, it's coming out in 2 weeks.
I know.
Literally 2 weeks from today.
Very excited.
Silksong is coming out.
It's gonna take over my streaming life.
And yeah, man, it's so interesting. I feel like, this is me personally speaking. This is not something I talked about with them, but I feel like their radio silence just added so much mystique that it like played an amazing form of marketing, just them not saying anything.
100%. I was gonna say that earlier when you mentioned that. Was like, it kind of unintentionally became the greatest indie game marketing campaign of all time. Like,
yeah, man, and that wouldn't work for most things, but just because of the word of mouth around Hollow Knight, and yeah, it's just it's a stunning story. I hope everybody reads the whole story, because like you gotta check it out. It's so much fun. It's such a fun story, and it's like such a feel-good story, unlike most of the stories that I write, which makes me very happy. Like, as I was talking to them, I kept saying to them, guys, like, Ari, William, I am so happy to hear this, because I'm so used to like having these conversations that are just heartbreaking with people about how grueling the video game industry is and how it crushes people, and here you guys are being like, yeah, we're just having a blast. We're just in our little cave, like making games. Like, we have so much fun making games. We don't do anything else. They told me that like occasionally people will drop by with like their children to like see their office and like say hi and like try to find out Silksong news. And they'll just be like, yeah, like, look at our grubby little office that like doesn't even have art on the walls. Like, we don't, like, you don't want to be here. Don't come in here.
Hopefully they can afford a real office after Silksong sells 40 million copies or whatever.
I mean, after Hollow Knight sold 15 million copies, they can afford whatever they want. They just have prioritized the game. And also, I think some people might have like worried that because they were so rich and like comfortable, that they didn't have to work on the game. But no, they were putting in many, many hours.
Yeah, that was my question.
What they enjoy. Well, so like, this is the thing they seem to, from my conversations with them, they seem to love most in the world, is not releasing things.
Awesome.
It is just making this game. Like, it brings them so much joy. And I think
awesome.
you can tell that from the final product. And it's even hearing that made me so optimistic that Silksong is going to be like as good, if not better, than Hollow Knight was, is because they just seem like they're just having such a good time making it. I feel like you can feel that in the final product.
Yeah, I am very, very excited. And it is cool to see a good story, like you said. I read most of your stuff, and it is always, I mean, even the Blizzard example we talked about on stream before was, that was a nightmare. It's just years and years and decades, actually, of nightmares and business getting in the way of art.
Not all nightmares.
No, there was some good stuff. Yeah, but you know, some certain disasters. You know, Anthem, I remember a story about that. Like all these crazy games with disasters, and it's cool to see this one actually come to fruition in a good way. I'm very stoked. Is there anything else you want to tell us from the article? Anything else we should know? Any fun fact? We're gonna read the full thing.
Yeah, I hope people read it. I mean, you can read it on stream, of course, but I hope people click on it and read it themselves, because that is how we stay in operation, and I am able to keep doing it is by people actually reading the article and clicking it and maybe subscribing and Bloomberg.
100%.
But yeah, no, it's really exciting. I can't wait to like actually get the game and for the conversation to be not around the hype anymore, but around the game itself and how cool it is, because like it sounds pretty rad. One thing that I'll say is that like in the article doesn't have any spoilers or any details about the game itself, in part because I said to Ari and William, I was like, I don't want to know anything about the game. Don't tell me anything, because like so much of the joy of Hollow Knight was just like randomly like walking in a tunnel and finding like a whole new region and being like, oh my god, there's an entire new like space in here. This game is like 1,000 times bigger than I ever thought it was gonna be. Or like finding like thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder what happens if I like duck under that big worm thing, and is there a hidden passage here? And oh, hey, cool, there's a larva here. Oh, cool, there's a what's it called, charm here. So yeah, I can't wait to just like dive in. I don't want to know anything about Silksong. I just want to jump in.
I mean the truth is, for me, for Hollow Knight, the original one, I don't like Metroidvanias, or Hollow Knight likes, as Zoomers will call it. And I played it, and I didn't like it at first. I got lost so easily. I didn't know what was going on, and I almost churned out. And then I had the Mantis Lords fight early on, and I was like, this game is so beautiful. And it hooked me, and ever since then, I've been such a fan. Like, I played 110% of the game on stream. I still play it on stream every now and then. It's an incredible game that kind of won me over with its charm and its art and its enemies, and like against my stupid odds. Like, my brain is so dumb, I was lost so easily. So I'm very excited for that. I think this is going to be such a smash hit. Although I do think here's a story for you.
Yeah.
The game has become so hyped. I think it will, for me, I think it'll live up to the hype. I think it's going to do incredibly well. But when you're the #1 most wishlisted game on Steam and there's a meme about it and there's a story, I think they're going to bring in a lot of people who don't realize they don't like Metroidvanias, or they don't like they're going to think they're going to love this game, and they're going to get, we'll see. I hope they give it a chance, because the game is so beautiful. But like the meme has gotten so much bigger than the game among certain audiences. Like, people that don't even know about.
Whenever something is hyped, there's always going to be backlash. There's always going to be the Reddit posts and the like YouTube comments that are just like, "Oh, Silksong sucks. Oh, all the hype for this. Oh, I beat it in 40 hours. Like, what the hell? Like, come on, man. I spent 7 years for this shit. It's just Hollow Knight." Or the biggest complaint I bet is going to be like, "Oh, it's just Hollow Knight 2. It's just the same as Hollow Knight."
That's the point.
But no, for real. The only thing I'll say, I didn't mention this to them or ask them about this, but the only thing I'll say is I think my only real complaint about Hollow Knight, it's been a while, so I might have other complaints, but my biggest complaint was how long the run could be from a bench to a boss, and how annoying it was to like, because you would keep dying on a boss and you'd have to go through a whole gauntlet to get there, which is kind of like an old school Souls thing that I feel like even From Software has changed. And now, like with Elden Ring, every single boss you just have a stake right before it, or like so hopefully in Silksong you have a bench before each boss fight, because I think that would make the game stronger.
Well, if not,
I think
in the DLC.
Yeah, exactly, in the DLC.
In 9 years.
Because I do think I see the logic behind being like, all right, we want more tension. We want this to be kind of a pain to get there. But I think the tension of the bosses is high enough as it is in Hollow Knight, that I don't think I think you could just have the benches be right outside you know what I'm really excited for here? I'll show off my gamer cred a little bit.
Okay.
I played through most of Hollow Knight. I did not do the boss gauntlet because that shit was a pain in the ass. But I did do Path of Pain, and I'm very excited for like if there's another incredible platforming.
I really hope so.
Path of Pain. Path of Pain is awesome.
I really hope so. It's gonna be good for content creators, especially because it just fills hours. You get stuck on that.
You have a lot to talk about.
I have a lot to do, a lot to be stuck on. Hey, Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Very appreciate that on the launch of your big article. We're all going to read it, and I'll spam the link again.
Yeah, check out the article. Check out Triple Click podcast, and of course, Play Nice, New York Times best-selling book. Play Nice: The Rise, Fall, and Future of Blizzard Entertainment.
Check it out.
Now it's coming out in paperback soon, actually.
Perfect.
It comes out paperback in October, early October.
Jason, thank you again so much. Please come on anytime if you have a new story. We'd love to have you.
I told you this. Remember we chatted last time? I was like doing the press rounds for my book back last September, last October.
You told me you were surprised that I actually read it and didn't fake it.
No. Well, that was cool. No, that I appreciated as an interviewer. No, what I said to you was the thing that blew my mind, or that surprised me most, is that like most YouTube, Twitch streamers have like the most toxic chats and communities, and you have the most positive community I've ever seen. Which I think is like, it's credit to you for building that kind of community that's just like all positivity and like people just being super chill and feeling like adults, which I think is awesome. Like I have not seen that on most content
That's very
creators,
kind of you, Jason.
Kudos to you for like
it's gonna go to their head, but
no, it's for real. Like usually I didn't see one anti-Semitic comment, which is such a shame. So, like,
that's your bar?
No, seriously, it was like so chill. It was like anti-toxic. I was so impressed reading through the YouTube comments and like the Twitch comments. I was so impressed.
Funny.
All right, I gotta run.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
Have a good day. What? Oh my God! What the hell? He went into the void. Oh my God! He exploded. What the hell? Vanished in a puff of smoke. Chat, thank you for making a good experience for Jason. Shout outs to Jason Schreier for joining our stream. I really appreciate that. Hopefully we can have him again for future stories he writes. Very funny to hear that it was because they were having too much fun. That's what I'm going to tell you guys next time I was late, dude. Next time I'm late. I'm having too much fun working on Marketing Monday. I'm just having too much fun making slides, and that's why it's taking me weeks.